Hey yo, back with another video. Today, I'm finally getting to Nota and DJ Sbu. Let's get into it.
So we're different. We have, whereas our white communities, because they're so small, they think more, or they delegate their thinking to other people. So the IRR or the Free Market Foundation or whoever will write an article, make a blog post about a certain issue, and that is basically the marching orders for all white people in South Africa to say, this is how you're supposed to think.
So the IRR, the Institute of Race Relations, it's an interesting name. It's an organization that I came across about 5 years ago, and I got to find out about who they are. It was on Twitter. There was an account back in the day called Ex Post Facto. The Renaldo Gouws, the Willem Petzer, the Sihle Ngobeses would know that account. And that account was a pro-socialism account run by somebody who was in favor of the EFF, in favor of leftist politics. And that account sounded really intelligent, and that account kept on bringing the facts. It cited, resources to read. It was the most effective debating account. That account was constantly also bringing highlight to this organization called the Institute of Race Relations and its interesting name, as I said earlier. Because if you are hearing this, you'd think that this is a government organization that is in charge of the relationships between the races in the country. You'd think that it's some kind of Chapter 9 institution. But no, it's a privately funded, what you'd say, think tank. And from what it appears like, it looks like they've put themselves in charge of reporting on the levels of racism. You see, like the weatherman who tells us the levels of rain that we are going to receive. You see, it looks like there's somebody who is in charge playing a good role in South Africa to mend and make people come together. That's what it looks like, However, look, for example, at the current conditions. Look at the situation with the Mqitamas. Look at the situation with the government of national unity and the lack of unity there is there between the black people and the white people who've come together to be in government together. Look at the streets. Look at Twitter. Look at YouTube. Look at the amount of racism that is being flung around at the current moment. Look at how race relations are actually worsening. And then go look at the reporting from the Institute of Race Relations. These are the people who will publish stuff that says, as far as they're concerned, as far as the research goes, as far as their observations are concerned, many black people are saying that they hardly experience racism in this country, and they say they've done a survey according to that. That was a few years ago. Those were the things that I was noticing. I was constantly on Twitter realizing a heavy amount of racism, such that I had never seen before. And that was my first awakening to the country that we live in, the world that we live in. During Trump's administration, I really got to learn how human beings of different colors do not like one another, particularly the black person being hated by the white one. The hatred of black people by the white people is the most insane, high-level thing that I've ever seen in my life. But you'll have the Institute of Race Relations saying, nah, there's nothing going on. So that's where I kind of started picking up, no, man. There's somebody who has appointed themselves to misreport and misrepresent how hot this country actually is with racism, bruh. Extremely, extremely, extremely hot. The temperature is hot up in here, man. It's really, really, really hot. But there's somebody who is telling the country that, nah, everything is actually fine. And what a key, dangerous thing to do. What a thing to underreport. I mean, go underreport a lot of things, bruh, but don't underreport the state of hatred in the country, because we miss out on the opportunity to fix ourselves. You keep people in a delusion, and Katleho's channel as well does the same. I'll try to explain something spiritual to you, something that really worries me. You can blast the ANC all you want, my sister. Nah? I don't care. I'm not an ANC voter. You shall come to find out that I'm not an ANC voter. I don't even have ANC friends, not one. You understand? So I don't care if you are blasting the ANC. Keep at it. But You there, my sister, your channel, something that it does spiritually, where it'll hamper people. The way that you point out immorality and corruption in one direction only, you are giving people the impression that they are without fault. Jesus Christ said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." You're a sinner casting stones, and you are teaching your community to see the thorn in somebody else's eye, but not the tree bark stuck in their eyeballs. It's a sinful, shameful thing to do. You and I, we discuss politics, but I want to bring you to spirituality. I want to show you the real damage that you do. You exonerate people. You wash them of their sin. The IRR pretty much does the same. It tells people that there is no sin, no racism. We've done the research. Ha 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 ha. Report now what is currently happening. Nkritama is there tweeting that white people are Neanderthals. From Parliament, a member of Parliament. What is the IRR gonna say now? That there's no racism? The AfriForum there is now being pursued for treason. We hope that goes well. That means black people and white people are not mending. Why did we end up having to charge the AfriForum with treason? Aren't they a neighborhood watch, school building organization, Afrikaner people protecting peaceful organization? Are they currently on YouTube calling for ANC politicians to be punished? We're calling Trump. We're calling trouble the villain petzers. Isn't there something wrong with calling foreign powers to intervene in a hostile manner with your government? So the IRR and Katlego are the people who, like that thing that Will Smith, the Men in Black, use after there's been a chaos around the city of people witnessing aliens and being under alien attack. There's that thing that wipes everybody's memory so everybody forgets. That's what the IRR does. That's what Katlego does in the minds of white people, in the minds of people who are racist. She points out all the troubles in the other direction, and people get to sit on a high horse, pure and holy and righteous. And you will pay for that when the Lord comes to collect, Katlego. I warn you, repent.
And white people think like that. That's why they vote like that within a certain block. Their behavior also suggests that, you know what I mean? So they think like that, and you cannot really change their minds. Whereas us with black people, we like to have discussions, we like to have debates, and we also have different cultures. A lot of white people see black people as just black people, whereas we don't ever see each other as black people. In fact, we don't see blackness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we always ask each other, what's your name? Where you from? Oh, and even when you ask where you from, I want to know, okay, what's the street name? Yeah. And I'm going to think in my head, okay, who do I know? Yeah, I know someone, you know, that's part of us introducing one another to each other. You know what I mean? You have to say, if you've been to a certain place, or you know, so I need to tell you who I know that side. Do you know this person? Oh, you know this. Oh, okay, I know. Then that's good. You know what I mean? Those are the type of conversations that we have, because we're very deep rooted in our identities and we understand our different identities. So these debates need to start being had. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be left to political party think tanks. You know what I mean? I saw Duma Kubule on the EFF podcast. You know what I mean? And I liked some of his proposals over the years about, you know, South Africa's economic policy, you know, our fiscal policy as well. And I think that these discussions need to start being had. You need to have your Duma Kubule going on to Podcast and Chill with MacG. You know what I mean? I know right now he's busy trying to promote the comedians. But jokes aside for a little bit, you know, let's start discussing important issues, because now is the time that important issues are being listened to on these podcasts. These podcasts are making an impact. You know what I mean? They're changing the dynamic.
Hey, yo, subscribe, yo. We're changing the dynamic. Yeah, I'm one such person. Yeah, man. Let me take my flowers while I'm here, man. I'm taking my flowers. I'm taking them. Subscribe. Like the content, man. I am one of those people who are having these conversations, who are breaking the German wall there, man. Separating Germany there.
We've walked out into a South Africa that's completely different than it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, umuntu omnyama bekamsaba umuntu. 2 weeks ago. Imagine 2 weeks later, I circle out. You know what I mean? And you're seeing it on the timeline. Like, there used to be white South Africans Twitter, and then black Twitter, and then everybody used to play in their own space, so we wouldn't engage with one another. But now, people are starting to engage. People are starting to see. Okay, people are starting to be recommended. By Pigisan. You know what I mean? People are debunking myths, you know.
Pigisana is we're debating. We are going back and forth. There's discourse taking place.
With that being said, I invited Renaldo Gouws. When that whole thing was happening last week, I DM'd him and I said, I'd like to invite you on a public debate on a podcast, yourself and Nota on race relations.
Hey yo, that's dope. Renaldo, you've been invited. Show yourself. The opportunity has come, my brother. This is the first time you are living on this earth. You do not know what is to come. You do not know what will come tomorrow. You did not know that a YouTube channel like mine would show up. You are not aware that I've been aware of you for over 5 years. And now, here I am. Finally got the courage to sit here and speak what needs to be spoken, because I thought during the last 5 years while I was away focusing on being a married man, I thought that there would be people coming in who are able to speak their mind and speak non-racially, you know, speak in a humane way that mends people, that makes a country turn and look better. Understand? But none of that was happening. And with that, you, the establishment, you who've been first to the media, first to Twitter, first to pump out white supremacy, first to be, you know, one-sided and committed to your views, extremely attached to your ideas. I thought that there would be somebody else coming to help balance you out. But over time, I realized that there's just more of one voice and it's growing so comfortable. There was something that was looking fundamentally wrong with people being on one side over there, speaking on their Twitter accounts, speaking on their YouTube channels, speaking to their primary audience, Renaldo Gouws, constantly speaking towards white people, addressing white people only, like other people do not exist, bruh. Making sure that you can hear that this church does not accommodate you. We're here to speak about white rights, white people, white interests, the interests of the white taxpayers' money. And I realized, no, man, there's something horribly wrong with this, bro. There's something extremely wrong with this. Podcast and Chill, a black platform, was able to invite John Steenhuisen, Helen Zille. But you'll forgive me, Renaldo, if I'm wrong, bro. But have you ever sat and spoken with somebody that you disagree with? Have you ever let your audience see you for who you are in that kind of dynamic? Because the only time I ever saw you in that sort of engagement was when Mighty Jamie fetched you at the airport, sat down next to you while you were waiting for your plane and asked you how you feel about what you had said in your video.
You see that verbally about this. Can I ask you a question? I'm that here question. Do you think that what Clement Manyakela said is fair to say that you need to do something to show remorse, or that you understand why people were angry or hurt?
So I've got absolutely nothing to say, because everything is there. The apology from 2013, 2016 that you...
I'm saying now, you remember Parliament now, so people want to have that. Some people didn't even know you did that. So people want to have it from...
Why did you not?
Well, I bumped into you now. So I'm reaching out to you. It's
all good. Listen, I do not appreciate being recorded while I'm here.
But what are you
thank you, ma'am. Can you please...
Yeah.
See, so once again, Mighty Jamie is doing exactly what he does.
So can you tell us right now?
Can you please...
Are you going to take some social justice lessons?
Can you please...
try to understand why people are so offended by you using the N-word and the K-word?
I'm asking you to please stop reporting me.
Face me.
Do you feel sorry about it? That was the only time I realized, no, man, I've never seen Renaldo Gouws with a black person. And that's so wrong. That's so wrong. That's so wrong. So, DJ Sbu here is inviting you to a debate. However, I also have a problem with why it has to be a debate. Why can't we invite each other to an agreement? Why can't we invite each other to a pragmatic discussion where we are going to be hell-bent on agreeing on something? That's the agenda. We're here to agree on something. We're here to find something and affirm one another. Not a debate, man. No, I think the word debate just lives on our tongue and it's too quick fire. When we want to meet the people that we disagree with, when we want to talk to them, we're always proposing, let's meet in a debate. It's like we're standing with swords. Can you not see how primal we seem? We don't have swords out here, but we have our points. I'ma shoot you with them. Come! Like some cowboys. Why do we do that? Why? Why do we have the spirit of argument? Why do we do that? Parliament does that. There's the opposition benches. There's the ruling. I don't understand. I really don't understand why on the streets we are taking the same formation as that which we're seeing in parliament. Debate for what? Can we agree on something? I mean, it's with the attempt to agree that we realize how hell-bent we are. That's what that exercise seeks to do, actually. I'm not saying we agree. Oh, soccer is nice. Yeah, I like soccer too. Nah, not those kind of agreements. Nah, not those kind of agreements. Lachlan Nicholson released a video where he said that one of the most hurtful things that white people do and they say to black people is that get over apartheid.
Firstly, as a white South African, one of the worst things I hear other white South Africans say to blacks is, oh, just get over apartheid. That is probably the worst thing you could say to a black citizen of this country. Because while apartheid may have ended over 30 years ago, in the grand scheme of history, that's not a very long time. There are people alive today who suffered greatly under the injustices done during apartheid. Not 100 years ago, not 200 years ago. They are still alive and dealing with the consequences of discriminatory law. So to say to a black South African, even one who was not alive themselves during apartheid, oh, just get over it. You, as a white South African, when you say that, you come across as though you don't care about the legitimate pain and heartache that their relatives experienced.
It has been 30 years already. And black people will say, but slavery lasted 300 years. Are you saying that from 1994 to 1995, 1996, the ANC government should have just uprooted and flipped the table, made radical changes, should have just gone and placed black people in suburbs, move white people out? Are you saying you don't appreciate how the ANC kind of left white people to their spaces and it didn't disturb them? They just simply said, just open up the restaurants, man. Open up the public toilets. Let the buses accommodate everyone. But besides that, stay with everything that you got during apartheid. Stay with every advantage. As you debate a black person, you say the ANC should have done something. Doing something. The raising of black people would have come at the detriment of what white people are owning. For example, if the ANC had truly gone and on a widespread scale, gone and funded black people to open high-level professional businesses, to go into franchising, and by funding, giving free money, for example, free money to say, hey, you gotta transform you. I know currently the money that is being given is not a grant like that. It's a loan. If you are asking government to give you money, you take a loan. But let's say for true transformation, instead of saying you give people 10 square kilometers of land each, 10 square kilometers, that's a lot, man. Whatever, 1 hectare each. Let me just say that. Let's say you give one person, fresh out of apartheid, 5 million rand to go start a Steers. The Steers restaurants in South Africa would have been mostly black owned. And that would have been to the detriment of the white people who are currently owning the restaurants. It would have created a competition between a group of black business people who've got free money because they are victims and the white people who are starting this money from their pockets. So Lachlan says it's bad for you to say that people should just get over apartheid. And so having heard him say that, I actually commented and said, I like your video, dude. You just spoken from the heart. He made a balanced argument. He followed up as well by saying that also the ANC should take accountability. So both things are right at the same time. The ANC has not moved to give people 5 million rand each to start a Steers and a McDonald's. And having not done that, having left people with their privileges, with whatever that they had earned during apartheid, be sympathetic to black people and stop telling them to just merely forget apartheid. That's a very bad thing to say. You see, that kind of agreement is what I'm talking about. Those are the things that we can try to sit together on one point and say, Brapa, tell me, Renaldo, tell me, what In an ideal world, what could the ANC have done? Let's see it in a simulation. Let's see these black people rise. When forces interact, when you push, there's an opposing and equal force. You know that. That's the law of Newton. When you raise a certain people and you give them free money, it would somehow put white people slightly under. Can you and I go through this conversation in a Socratic manner, step by step? We implement this, the law of unintended consequences. Due to our implementation, what byproduct, what results turn out? This experiment, how would it go? Agreeing on those small points as you go forward. That's the kind of agreement that I'm sort of talking about. So, dude, you've been called. We're serious out here, man. South Africa is no longer the same. I think you thought for too long that you're gonna sit all by yourself and talk to your echo chamber all on that side there. We're watching you, man. We're watching you and we want you. We want to talk to you. We can see that you're making money complaining on YouTube. And we want to see, do you actually want a solution? Can we give it to you if we have it? Are you willing to sit down with us? We want to agree with you. Just show us properly what your vision is. Just do it. Say yes to Sbu, my brother. You need to do it, Renaldo. Otherwise, you are looking very, 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 very exclusionary. You are looking like a cult member, somebody who just sits with a certain kind of people only. Your freedom of association is of a nasty, snobby type. And so, if you don't come talk to us nicely, get to know us, you're gonna get to know us like this on YouTube, reacting to your videos. And we can't do that forever.
And then I'll facilitate it.
Yeah, please.
He still has not responded, but hopefully he'll respond soon. But I'd love like a public live podcast recording with an audience and with you and Renaldo Gouws, maybe one or two other guests, discussing different issues, especially race relations, you know?
Yeah, I mean, our race relations, you know, are basically catching ethers from the breakdown of race relations in the United States. You must remember that there's a lot of racial reckoning that's been happening in the United States over the past 5-6 years. You know, there was the whole entire George Floyd, Black Lives Matter movement. Then that was responded to by DEI measures, you know, the blackout. And I think we need to be careful not to be influenced by what's happening in the States because it dominates our media so much that we now internalize states' race relations. Because the States, they're going through something where, you know, they've got the whole entire replacement theory where white people are going to be in lesser numbers. I'm not to say that white people will be a minority. Even if white people were 40% of America, they'd still be a majority because the other...
Okay, that's the portion that I wanted there. That invitation to Renaldo Gouws. You'll go and watch DJ Sbu's The Hustler's Corner. Let me not steal and rip too much of his content. That last bit that he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting to see in South Africa a kind of politics that we've been seeing in the United States. There's a style of debating that is being introduced to us. The Katlejos, I'm telling you, you may think that that woman is raising young people who are conscious, who've got points, who've got reason, who can take you through their logic. No. If you've ever seen meltdowns of people, the leftists in the United States, there's been a group over there of brats. There's been a party and its followers who have taken up appearances of blue hair, weirdness, gothics, that whole segment of strange people. You all know what the left has been looking like. Ne? If you've analyzed and known the debating style of those people, if you've watched videos of the meltdowns, you know, the stupidity, the mere throwing of words at people, the poking iron running away style. We are being introduced to that. Katleho and her facts first, cry later. There's nobody crying out here. Don't mock. Don't be silly. This whole, they're going to call me a self-hating black. Or they're going to call me a clever black. Katleho, if you listen to what she's not saying, as she's saying clever blacks, she's casting and creating a category of people who are the stupid blacks. That's what she's doing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the left versus right dynamic that we've been watching take place in the United States. People trashing one another. Ad hominems, stupidity, attitudes when you have to engage with people. You have a platform, you are big, you've got a whole lot of followers, Katlego. Then when people try to engage you, you're like boo-hoo-hoo to them. That is American. People there are having different kind of fights. Here we don't have those kind of fights, and I don't think we should engage each other like that. Last point as I go away. Here's what is said about South Africa, and if this kind of nonsense arrives and sets its claws in us and sinks its teeth in us and gets into our bloodstream, here's the problem with it. Here's the real problem with it. Black people in South Africa have not realized, did not notice that the xenophobia, anti-immigration sentiment, there's been an anti-immigration sentiment right across the world. But in South Africa, those who spotted that the world is being anti-immigration, there had been a wave of globalization for some time, and now people were starting to say, it's too much. That was all happening as a trend worldwide. People were starting to say, nah, man, this is Australia. I'm seeing too many Nigerians out on the streets. So when the anti-immigration movement started worldwide, somebody was clever enough to say, before South Africa rises and they say anti-immigration of the whites, the settlers, let's turn these black people on the Zimbabwean foreigners. Let's turn them on those ones. Let's have tudulas, be registered. Let's pay their leaders and send them out on the streets to go be anti-black. So now the black people in the Southern and South Africa are split. The interests of the black men are split between the local and the foreigner, right? And then the black man, now we've got the local black man. The black man now is split between the straight man and the homosexual man. The interests don't align. And on top of being split that way, right? The black man, the black person, including the black women, now we are being split again along the clever blacks and the stupid blacks. And then we've got the Aikumalos who are speaking anti-black women to black men. They are speaking black women as worthless trash. So between the male and the female, who should meet? There's also division. So the black person in South Africa seems not to be realizing the psychological operation that is happening to us. You see, we're being moved by the prince of the powers of the air. There is somebody in control of our minds. There's somebody telling us who to hate. There's somebody telling us who to love. There's somebody creating new categories for us to be split up. And this is what Katlego is engaged in. Clever blacks and stupid blacks. Renaldo Gouws being on his platform primarily, never mixing with other people. That's another split between the whites and the blacks. And I hope me and Laklan will grow to become friends, and I will be reviewing his video next to see how we can demonstrate black people meeting. I'd like to talk to him genuinely and be on a call with him for an hour and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, let me leave it right there. Renaldo, say yes to DJ Sbu. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me have your opinion about what I have discussed with you here. I thank you very much. See you next time.